Hello, and a warm welcome to Sports Passion, Heart of Athletics. In this series, we want to tell you about some of the exceptional people in our sport, people who have a special heart. We will meet former athletes and others who are giving back to the sport through their foundations or their work benefiting the community. Today, we have the great pleasure and honor to host Tegla Loroupe, whose actions to help communities and athlete refugees are a shining example to the whole world. Let's have a look. Welcome, Tegla. Lovely to have you.
Thank you very much, Anna.
So welcome, Tegla. Welcome, sister. It is a real honor to have you on our program. You had an outstanding career first as an athlete.
Yes.
And we're going to have a look. We have a photo of you as a very young athlete with the prison team coach. Then you were twice a bronze medalist at the 10,000 meters, 2 times an Olympic finalist, yes, always on 10,000. But it is really on the roads that your career blossomed. And you earned 3 world half marathon champion titles. You won major marathons, twice New York, London, Berlin, Rotterdam 3 times. And you set some impressive world records at the marathon and in the 1 hour, but also records which still stand in the 20,000 meters, 25,000 and 30,000 meters. I saw quite an impressive array of trophies when we visited your house, and they really reflect your outstanding career. So, Tegla, in setting these world records and achieving these titles, you broke many barriers, not just when competing, but already before that, because already to make it acceptable for a woman from West Pokot to run, that was already a mega achievement. Also in the beginning, your federation, Athletics Kenya, did not really support you very much. So what are some of the obstacles you had to overcome which shaped your career as an athlete?
Thank you, Anna. As you know very well, and you've been also in our community in West Pokot. And as you know that I was the only, I can say, a person who broke the odds. To be an athlete from such a community whereby women they were not given opportunity, it was a very hard time. But I realized at early age that one has to struggle to win, and in any way, in classroom or whatever comes ahead of me. And since I realized that my brothers, or I mean the boys, were always given the first priority, so that alone gave me a lot of encouragement and to be a strong person. And when I went to high school, so that's when I realized that I think I should be like people like Ingrid Christianity. But how to reach there is another nightmare. But I was always fighting and I never lost hope. I come from that community. I come from the community where they fight. And that's a time that I was not given opportunity to go to run to represent the cross country. So my fighting starts from there. And then I realized that these people wanted me to be to leave sports, not knowing that I come from a warring community. So I had to fight, and I took all the obstacle as a blessing for me, because I was fighting hard to show them that they will never break my heart. They leave me, I go home, I wait for another year, I come back. But Anna, when I came to Europe, I realized the stigma that came along with me, and that I say I come from a conflict area. It is true. But how to change such a stigma is only that to show good things. And I was really lucky person. Why? Because when international bodies caught my struggle, and I really want to say, and I want to say that I was lucky to be very close person, friendly with IAA by then. Who was there was you, Anna, and Sandro Giovanelli. And of course, the late president, Prima Neviolo. So those are the forces that they were covering when the federation was not happy about me to run. So I was getting a lot of support from IAAF. And I remember that in Brussels, I became the first Kenyan to run a half marathon from women. I was given that opportunity by IAAF itself to say, let her run as an individual. People doesn't know this, and I came number 3. So I was always happy because I know that there are people who look for me. I never want to let them down. So, and well, I don't know if I can cut stories down, but it's in 2003 when I came back home to think of our people. It's the reason is that because I have already a name, I have a mouth, I have a voice. So it starts when we start the peace race in 2003 in Kapenguria. And then the government
And you were
started
still
to...
competing. You were
Yeah,
still
I was...
competing, but you already started this wonderful initiative.
Yes. Because every time I was doing, I was, my heart, what can I say? I divide my competition and what I was doing for the people. And even then, even when I was running the world records, I I finished the world record in Rotterdam, and then I went home to talk to community that we can do more. And all along, I was fighting, but I did not feel that I was feeling encouraged that to see that such a one person can make a difference.
It's really amazing. We were watching some of the photos from 2005 because our friend photographer Jiro Mochizuki was there and he took some wonderful photos. He came back. He was so happy to have been able
Yes.
to witness the peace race in Kapenguria.
You,
So
should,
how
you,
did
you should
start
you
the
should
peace
give me the
races?
photos because I really don't have.
Yes? Okay. I'll send them. But tell me, how did you have the idea of starting the peace race?
What happened, Anna, is that when Nawel started the event in Morocco, so she asked me and Joyce, and we went there to support her. I was like chaperone for that event, and the first event was just like less than 100 women, but we supported Nawel without asking any money because we wanted our sister to see that they are role model from Africa. So in 2000, when there was 2000, I think it was 2003 early when they had a bomb blast in Casablanca. So I say, okay, if this bomb blast has just occurred, the criminals were already there, but they were really happy to see that there were so many women running, competing, but they didn't want to do bad things. But the following day is when the bomb blast was. So I was thinking about what was happening in our community. And then it happened again that during Indonesia, again Pomplas. I was competing in Monaco, Grand Prix, and then Minister of Sports was there from Indonesia. And then he asked me in the morning that I would love to have a competition to bring tourists. So I was kind of like shocked because I saw, who am I? I'm just Tegla. And there were people like Marion Jones and many big names more than me. But the man was kind of like, did I do something wrong? And finally, he asked me, Tegla, it's not all about what you have in athletics. It's all about what is in you. Are you afraid to come and compete with our people to bring sanity? For me, I was able to open up and say, oh, you know what? I am not going to fear, but I have to talk to my government because people doesn't want to go where there's war. And for me, already government they know who I am. I need to seek their permission. But I am not afraid because terrorists can come anywhere. In 1998, we had Pomplas in Nairobi. So the issue is the issue in Nairobi. I start to remember that we lost friends. So I told this man, I'll come, but first I have to seek for permission. So I asked the vice president of Kenya because I had his number, and he told me, Tegla, you are our ambassador, so please go. So I went to Indonesia, whereby even American and Australian athletes they were not allowed. But I came there, and then we were able to talk to the people, and the public were really happy to see us. And when I finished running, this idea came to my mind that now people respect me all over the world. My people are just dying. I could use these sports. So I came to Nairobi and I asked Federation, I would love to have a race in Kapenguria. So nobody wanted to go to West Pokot, and they said, no, we are not going because that place is very bad. I talked to the late Isaac Blagat, and he refused. But I say, listen, with the respect that I have, I could have gone and start alone. I know you do not like me. We've been fighting all the time. But when Tegla is needed to represent the country, I am a good person. But not knowing that I come from the community where people fight, and these are the communities that I want you people to help. So I went, and the police cannot lock me out. So they asked me, Tegla, where do you want to go? Because I was running, I have scarf with normal shoes. So I told them I want to go to the parliament. So of course, they opened the gate. I came, and then the parliamentary were coming from inside anyway. And then I met the first person I met was former Prime Minister, that's Raila Odinga. And I was looking for a member of parliament of Pokot, Marakwet, Turkana. These are the people they fight, and from Elkoi Maasai. So I told my idea. I said, you know what? I want to have a race. I want to have a race for women. I was only thinking to do what Nawel. But these people asked me one question. First of all, we are really happy because we knew that you are in Casablanca. And then I told I did not have any problem. Here I am. And then they asked me, Tegla, we would love you to have a peace race for men and women. I asked why. They say women are not going, women are the victims, but the men are the ones who go outside. So, and then I had a media from various within the place. So I went back home. So 6 in the morning, Isaiah Kiplagat called me because it was in the news. And then they say now this Tegla, nobody will stop. Now she left the Kenya Federation and she went to Parliament. Within half an hour, she was already in Parliament. So we need to do something. He asked me, Tegla, can you come to the office? That was 6. I told him I'm going to West Pokot. And he said, no, we want to have a race in West Pokot and we will cancel one race in Kakamega. So I went and I met Kiblagat. And that's when we came with the death of West Pokot. And then the South Sudan, they led Dr. Karang. And today, the president of South Sudan, Salva Kiir. So they called me and they said, Tegla, we will support you. Because we know the struggle that you've been struggling for the people of Pokot. You are like us. We stayed in the forest for 27 years. When we came to West Pokot, there was only one person who was struggling, but the name came along. It was you, and that's a little Tegla. But we know you value peace, but we will support you. So that's how I was supported by of course, I was supported by government of Kenya, also South Sudan, and from the embassies was the ambassador of Sweden who came and compete with us. And then the Ugandans, of which the Minister of State was late, but he came in the evening. He stayed overnight in our home. So the following day, he told me that he was sent by President Museveni to come to that peace race because it never happened, nothing happened in that region. So, and then I was invited to go to Uganda Parliament to talk about the peace in Moroto, where also there is a huge kind of displacement and fighting. And the production of that, I realized across the country, the people fight because of the resources, education, and that's why I came with the idea of building the school.
So how important is it to you that the peace races, which were initially held in West Pokot, are now also been held in Uganda, also in neighboring countries?
It was realized by the government, both sides, that the Karamoja, they call Karamoja Glacier, is a very is a huge boundary whereby our people have been fighting all along. And when the first peace race in Kapenguria, it brought a lot of sanity across the board. And of course, I saw that there was a great honor from both leaders. It became kind of like political thing whereby both leaders came to realize that we need to support these initiatives.
Right. I remember you told me once that in the beginning, some of the elders from the communities had come to look for you. They were looking for Loroupe, but they had not realized that the person they wanted to meet was a small young woman.
Well, I was almost forgetting, Anna. The idea also that came for me to build a school, it came through also the two men. When we had a race in Moroto, in the evening, we normally celebrate. So there was two girls that they did not make it for the race because where they lived was very far from Moroto, so they were late. So they came when they were very down and they cried. But we had some events prior to the competition, and the two girls caught the animals. So the two fathers came looking for their girls. And they came and we were celebrating, people were singing, and they asked, these are Kenyans, these are Karamoja and the Taposa in the mountain. They never had celebration together. They said we never had. celebration across the board is shooting guns.
Yeah.
So they asked, they wanted to look for this man who have done impossible to be possible. And then, and then there was somebody brought them to me, and then so they looked me like I was just a kind of a small girl. Now I'm a little bit fat now because I was tiny. And then they asked, no, we are not looking for this one. Can you look for us, Mr. Loroupe? And then they talked in Karamojang language. They try to say this is Loroupe. And then these men they are warriors. They say, no, we want the man. Finally, I understood the argument. I understood the last word, Loroupe. I said, you know what, tell them, my name is Tegla Loroupe. Loroupe is my father, and my father is not here. I'm the one who came to organize this event, and I am an athlete. So this man looked at me. So I was kind of like the same size with the girls. And then they told me, so you are the one? I said, yes. Did you go to school? I went to school. And I ran and I went to school and I went to Europe and I'm running in Europe. I ran in America. So I have to explain. And then the sad thing is that as much as I'm competing in a very good environment, but my people back home are suffering. So I also suffer. I never enjoyed my traveling because my heart was always at home. So that's why I realized I have to do something to unite our people, just to make sanity to understand that we need to live. We need not to fight to kill people like Tegla. And there are so many here. And then they told me, did your father not marry you off? I said, of course, my father wanted me to get married with only 3 cows. That means when you get married and your father asks for 3 cows, you are useless. And then they asked me why. I say, I was a talkative person, and in our community, they need somebody who is just quiet, but I never been quiet. And then they told me that, and then they told me, you are our daughter, and they are very proud. And then I asked, how old is your father? And then I looked at 2 men. I said, my father is of your age. And now they told me that these are the 2 girls. One said, my daughter, she's going to be married. I have already 60 cows. And the other one, 40 cows. I asked, why is it that they keep so much cows and they are short like me? And then they say they are very strong because they are not fat and they are very athletic. They can do anything. Oh, and then they told me, Tegla, our daughter, yes, we want you to take these 2 girls to go to school. Take them. So for me, and then somebody from the organizing committee from Uganda came to me and said, Tegla, I know you don't have a school, but don't say no to them. So I was lucky there was a European ambassador who was also sponsoring our Moroto race. His name is Stephen. So I went to him. I said, Stephen, what can we do? Can you help us? There are schools here in Moroto, or you can take these 2 girls to Kampala. And then you let us know how we can support. So he said yes, and then I think that's the time that the 2 old men agreed, and we left the situation to our committee in Uganda. So the following day, I had to come home, and together with the Minister of State from Uganda, Peter Lokeris, he was instructed by the President of Uganda that make sure you bring Tegla back home to our family, because we still had a lot of insecurity on the way. So the armed forces had to take us from Moroto to the border of Kenya, So the Kenya government again took us from the border all the way to Kapenguria. So, and then I told the Mheshimiwa Lugeris, I want to build a school. I had already the land, but my heart was saying, now this land, I have to change the titles to give to the foundation, to the school. So that's how the idea of building a school for the reformed and displaced kids.
That is fantastic. The Kapenguria Peace Academy is another wonderful project. Initially founded for the schooling of orphans from conflict tribes in Kenya, and then expanded, as you said, to all of East Africa. And in March 2017, we had the great pleasure to stage together a kids athletics day in Kapenguria, and you can see the water bottles holding the string. Everything was sustainable, everything was recycled, and it was just a fantastic day. And Tegla doing the shot put.
Yes, sure. Wow, Anna, but it was a great day anyway with the kids.
And what is wonderful is that they continued to play athletics long after the competition had ended. They were still jumping, they were still running. They obviously had a good time. And you had also told me that the training...
It was the first event in our school.
And you told me that the training that both the teachers and the students had helped improve the performances of the schools in the Kenya National School Championships.
For sure, because our kids start to balance education and sports. Anna, after we left anyway, because we had different schools, our neighbors. From that moment up to today, the performance went very high. Also, the performance of school of sports. You know, today in fact our school are leading in our school. Our school we are leading in handball. I don't know how better than athletics. And for exams, we were number one in the county.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
Yes, Tegla. So among the many peace initiatives which you championed, the refugee team is now probably the most famous. Tell us how that started.
We started this refugee project. Of course, Dr. Thomas Park opened the doors for the refugees. That's for 2016. But before then, we had a competition in Kakuma together with the UNSCR. And then we were able to select the athletes, and we went to Dadaab, we select the athletes, and we brought them to Ngong, our training camp in Ngong. Why we brought this athlete to Ngong is that in Kakuma, training place is not a conducive environment. And we were lucky that the Kenya government have, I can say they have faith with me or goodwill. So they were able to give us opportunity to take this athlete to train with us, and also with the help of UNSCR. And the people who sponsored the athlete to stay in Gong IOC.
So from working with warriors to working with refugees, it was kind of a logic step in a way.
And you know what, Anna? I also forwarded the name of Elisa as a chaperone for the athlete to IOC. Why? Elisa Lobilale is a woman warrior, but she lost brothers, and she went also, like, she stood in the forest. But when we disarmed through our peace race, 2003, she became changed, and Foga Wagner supported her. And then Embassy of America gave a ticket to Las Vegas to run. So just to empower somebody from wanting to this sports arena. So Elisa came to Ngong, and I was given also extra 5 athletes to bring to so that they can train together with our refugees athletes. I mean the hosts and the refugees. So they go along. When the refugees athletes, when they have issues in their homes, so the other people have to tell them, even us, we came from this certain environment, but we can work and we will succeed together. And now our refugees also go to school. And that's another thing that I want to tell the world, that we empower them through running and also through education. Nobody is training who is not going to school or college.
Exactly. That is very, very important for their future. So congratulations,
Yes.
Tegla.
I am a tough sister and a mother. So
A very sweet, tough sister and mother. So the first refugee team took part in the Rio Olympics in 2016. 10 out of 10 refugee athletes in total, 5 of them were from your training camp in Nairobi and in Ngong, and they competed in athletics. How did that experience impact you, the athlete refugees, and other athletes and refugees in general?
well, for sure, when we came to even before coming to Rio, there was a lot of negatives concerning the refugees that I couldn't tell them what was happening behind their backs, because they used to say, okay, how comes that Tegla is working with the criminals, many things, they will not make it. So I used to cover all this, and I say I was one time like them. But this I see a potential. If they cannot bring medals, but this is a step forward for them. They will change their lives. So when we came to Rio, before Rio, when they announced the team, the whole world came to realize that these refugees athletes they are important, and their inclusion is very important. So coming to Rio, we was really many people supported us. In fact, we got congratulations also from world leaders, including Obama, including Pope, also of course our president from Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta, who gave us, who wished us all the best with the Kenyan team, because we are now like taking two teams. It's the refugees are their babies, and plus the Kenyans. And remember, during this Olympic in Rio, the Olympic itself had a lot of challenges, be it virus, the event was not finished, and there was a lot of negative, including the doping. But the refugees brought another dimension whereby everybody forgot the negative and they embraced the refugees, and it was like a medicine. And after that, our athletes got confident. Why? They met with the best runners in the whole world, and they ran with the best runners in the whole world. And I remember Prince of Monaco, Prince Albert came to visit, and the athletes were able to take photos. Also, Dr. Thomas Bach and Bilivo Grande. So, where on earth, if it was not because of sports, they could not have these opportunities to have photos with such a big people. But for me, I was really encouraged to see that the heavy load from my shoulders was like, it was lifted out. And I could see, like, you have a kid, now they can walk. So I was really happy, and the athlete was happy. And then from there, most of our athletes became ambassadors. For example, you see somebody grows, she goes out and talk in different forums. Paulo, he came to Rome and he had a project. I think you were there, Anna, with Paulo. He had this project with the Pope in Vatican.
Yes.
So refugees going to Rio, it opened a lot of doors for them, and also for the and also worldwide, they came to respect, and every country want to be part of the country that can take refugees to represent. Yeah.
It really opened a lot of doors, and it changed a lot of mentalities, the refugee team in Rio.
Sure.
It was something very, very special. Now, the last
Yeah.
year and a half has been difficult for many athletes because many
Yeah.
competitions were canceled or postponed because of the pandemic. The training center in Gong also had to close for several months.
Yes.
How did the athletes
It
cope
was
with
kind
this
of very difficult
situation?
even to. Well, they tried, but it's not like if the race was for last year, we could have taken even more than 5 athletes. But we thank God because today we are sending 4 athletes, and I think we have the bigger number from our institution. Other athletes they come from different clubs, either 1, 2 years or 3. But the coronavirus did not only affect our refugees alone, but the whole world.
Yeah.
But the hardest part is especially Africa, because when they close the door or the boundaries, athletes go home with their worst environments. They don't have good places to train. When you are in Europe, at least you have a different good facilities, not like what we have in Africa. But we hope that we will do our best.
So you are again chef de mission for the Olympic Games in Rio, and in Rio and now in Tokyo, and you will soon be leaving for Japan. What message do you and the athlete refugees have for refugees around the world and for the host communities who sometimes resist or discriminate the refugees?
I'm sure that our message is that, you know what, all of us we've been fighting COVID, or what it's like, it's international thing, and therefore they should also see refugees as the people who will bring positive and good synergy. And you never know, this is the 5 continents that are going to Japan.
Yeah.
And then another, almost refugees are almost another continent, and therefore we might bring, or we are believing that we bring healing, the healing spirit, and we wish all other refugees that they wish those who are going to Japan success and also good sanity. And on behalf of the Chief de Mission for the refugees, I just want to say that the host country, here we are coming, and also they will learn resiliency from the refugees kids, and we pray that God can clean the air in Tokyo, that when we come out of Tokyo there will be no more this virus, because it is something that it's only God who can clean the air. So we will come there and we fight together, and we will embrace a successful and a positive synergy.
Thank you very, very much, Tegla. It was wonderful talking to you. Now we have a couple videos we would like to show you, and we hope you enjoy our little surprise.
So sure, for sure, Anna. And then when are you coming to Kenya? You come for the under 20.
I hope to be there for the under
Be my
20. I
guest.
hope to be there in August.
Yes. Please, Anna, come. People misses
miss
you,
Kenya.
so please come and visit the athlete. Yes.
Yes, and of course I'll come and visit the camp.
Thank you. We look forward. Paulo.
What I would like to say about Tekla is that Tekla is a good woman, is a role model to us, and what I can say again about the Tekla is also a peace building, and she also promoting the peace around the world, and also in Kakuma refugee camp. So again, you see Tekla now. You see Tekla as you see our mother, and Tekla is doing many things, and she also promoting us. Seeing Tekla, seeing we beginning of this camp. So up to now we are with her, and we didn't have any argument or any quarrel about the Tekla. So she always come to us, and sometimes we make fun, and also she advising us, and she also telling us her story. Since when she was young until now. So Tekla is a good woman, and we love her, and also sometimes when she come to the camp, she give us advice, and we talk to her also about how she come up to now. Because now, as you see Tekla, and we go back and talk of her story since the beginning of her life. So up to now is totally different. But because now Tekla now she is a good woman, and she also is a role model to us, because since she promote this is the beginning of this camp up to now, Tekla she does many things, and also she also is achieved the mission as you seen 2016, as my brother James mentioned about the team to go to Olympic 2016, because that time to make a team for Olympic in Rio de Janeiro, it was not that easy. It was very hard. Thank you.
Hey. So a Kenyan Paulo. This is great.
Hello everyone.
It's a
My
very
name
big
is
surprise.
James
Hey, James.
I'm an agent at Ghana. I live here in the hub of Tegla Loroupe Peace Foundation. Since I came to this camp, Tegla has been a role model to all of us, all the athletes who have been in Gong training camp. They feel like their mother has come, and they normally come and greet her. So Tegla has been a good person to us. She did a lot of good things in our life. From where we came from, if you look at it up to this moment, she's one of the great people who have made our life to be better, and we really appreciate her, because when she comes to the camp, she normally calls us and we talk. She advises us about the life, and she also tells us a life story from where she came from up to the level that she reached, which is very, very important, good encouragement. So we are so happy to see Tegla always being happy also. It is something very great, and for us to make a team for Olympic in 2016, it was not that easy, but we really appreciate her, because without her, I think we could not be where we are right now. And we normally say, we normally pray for her, God to bless her, and also making the team for the second time. It is a successful thing that we really appreciate as well. Without her also, we cannot make the team. She did a bigger part, and we really appreciate her. And thank you so much, our mother and our sister.
So thank you very, very much, Tegla.
This is great.
It was a huge pleasure to know you, first as an athlete, then an honor to work with you on some projects, because you really are a shining light for so many people around the world. And thank you so much for being on this show. Now, if you want to reach Tegla and maybe contribute to some of her amazing projects, you can reach her through the Tegla Loroupe Peace Foundation. On the website, you have all the information about the projects, how to contact people there. So we really encourage everyone to look up all the wonderful things the Tegla Loroupe Peace Foundation is doing, and maybe contribute and help to put into practice some of these projects. Thank you so much, Tegla. A very big hug, my sister, and I hope to see you in August.
Thank you, my sister, and stay safe and be happy, and God bless you and protect you always. And we see you in 1 month, I think so. Yes. And we
God
love
bless
you.
you. Thank you, Tegla.
So much. Thank you. Thank you very much.